Right now, every business owner has to make harder choices than they normally have to make, and their choices are normally hard. The reason for that is there's this compression, like this compression of outside forces on everybody's businesses right now that we can't ignore. We can't just think that these things aren't going to affect us. We can't turn a blind eye. And they're coming for us, and they're here right now even. And when you look at this, it's like everybody's feeling the pinch. Everybody around you, probably including you, is feeling the pinch of things like high gas prices, high food prices, inflation. These are all things that everybody feels, and whether you provide a product, a service, or experience, you're really feeling that. Your customers are feeling that. And the big deal about it is that you've got to use the forces inside your business to win right now. It can't be reliant on somebody outside to save you. That isn't something that ever truly works. You've got to think about what happens inside your business. And by the way, outside, I'm talking about we're going to get a flood of new customers, they're going to do this. There are ways to do that, but really look at your profit first and your revenue second, which means that you're going to need to be more efficient. However efficient you are right now, the marketplace in the world demands of you an even greater degree of efficiency in order to really make this happen. Now, there are 4 ways really that you can grow any business. And the first is the simple way, but it's also one of the most expensive ways, which is to get more customers. So whatever number of customers that you have right now, you would multiply it, and you'd multiply that through a series of marketing, which is messaging, and advertising, which is the vehicle to deliver the messaging, and then a conversation of sales. Then you've got to add to fulfillment, and in some cases, especially if you're providing like service type business, you've got to add more staff to deal with the fulfillment. So you can grow your business through more customers. There's a point in everybody's business where the only way to grow is through more customers, but that's typically just at the start. So if you're past the phase of just starting out, then growing your business by getting more customers is just a way, but it's not the way. Second way that I look at this is that you can increase the transaction value that each customer you get brings to you. So right now, you've got something that you sell. It's something that provides a solution of some sort, whether it's a product, service, experience, doesn't really matter. You provide some form of a solution to somebody, and they pay you to get that solution. Now, that's your standard. That's your baseline. Picture how much you charge today as your baseline. The other way to grow this thing is to increase that baseline. The transactional value of each customer needs to go up, which means that you can either charge more for what you are offering right now, which, by the way, if you haven't increased prices, it's a fine time to increase prices because everybody gets it. There isn't a consumer, whether you're in the B2C space or the B2B space or the B2B to B2C, that doesn't understand inflation is a real thing. They don't so you'll be able to raise your prices right now. But the other way to go about increasing the transaction value for each customer that you have today is to increase the amount of stuff that you sell them. There are add-on products that you could very easily create that would increase the transaction value of each customer. So for example, let's say that you had a dry cleaning business and you wanted to increase your transaction value. Right now, somebody brought in 2 pieces of dry cleaning per month. And you said, all right, so here's the deal. We're going to raise our prices, but we also want to increase it a little bit different way in terms of the transaction value. Well, what you do is you put that person on a rotating or a regular schedule where they pay you a flat fee every month and they can bring in every piece of clothing that they need to bring in. Incremental increase in cost to you, but also exponential increase in revenue, because picture yourself having 100 customers and doing that with every single one. You've increased the transaction value from a couple of shirts for that, say, cost you $10, or you get paid $10 to do that, $5 a shirt, and I have no idea what dry cleaners charge. But let's say you had $5 a shirt, and now you're going to charge everybody $30 a month for unlimited. The perception of value is really high for the prospect and the customer, but the fulfillment is really going to remain the same because they're not going to stop by that much more often, though they've got the ability to. So that's the second way that you can do this. The third piece is that you can increase the frequency with which your customers buy. So there's a cycle of buying, and Car cycles of buying are typically 3 to 5 years when you have that. Home buying is typically, well, now every like 3 to 7 years. It goes a lot faster. But there is a frequency right now with which your customers buy from you. This goes a lot faster when you're something like a coffee shop, like Starbucks. The frequency with which their customers buy is, I think, something like 4 or 5 times a week when you look at their financial reports and their annual reports that they issue to their shareholders. But there is a current frequency that your company sells things to people, and your customers can buy from you at a greater frequency when they are reminded and incentivized to do so. You've probably seen this at a sandwich shop where you get a little card and they punch the card every single time and you get a free sandwich after like the 12th sandwich. They're trying to increase the frequency with which you buy. So the question to ask yourself in this is, what could I do that would increase the frequency, the duration, or we could reduce the duration of time between visits for my customer, or between purchase for my customers, if it's not a physical location? How could that whole thing go down? The fourth piece of this is actually going to be the best way, because it's going to grow your bottom line rather than your top line. Everything we talked about so far is about growing your top line, but the bottom line is really more important. If we focus on our profit, we're more effective with the customers that you currently have. So you can increase the effectiveness of your process. That's the fourth way to grow a business. And these are the only 4 ways to grow a business, by the way. So if you increase the effectiveness of your process, what that means is that you take your existing revenue and you're more efficient, meaning you've got less expenses to deliver on the fulfillment, and that increases your profitability. So we find efficiencies in the way that you go about delivering your service or delivering your product. And there's a lot of legacy things right now inside of every company that I've ever looked at, including my own, where you have things that you bought a while ago that were on some type of a subscription program that no longer are relevant and no longer serve the company's needs. And these things add up over time. I'll bet you that if I looked at your business and let's say that you had a $5 million a year business in terms of top line revenue, my bet is that you probably have at least $50,000 to $60,000 in stuff that you don't even use anymore and doesn't serve you, but you continue to pay for. So that's a way to increase the effectiveness of your business. You can also look at automating processes. You can look at streamlining the way that things work inside of your systems, because that's going to release the manpower, or it's going to help you increase the output if you're providing some type of physical product. So that's a way that you can increase the effectiveness of your process. So those are the 4 ways that you can grow a business. Let's review them. So 1, you can get more customers. You can go out there, you can advertise, you can market, and you can get more customers into your business. There's a cost associated with that you've got to be aware of, because you've got to be driving profit faster than you're driving revenue every single time. That is non-negotiable. Second way, increase the transaction value of each customer. So how much do you sell them right now? That's your baseline. You can increase that transaction value. Third way, increase the frequency with which they buy. There's an amount of time between purchases that happen right now. Simply increasing that by 20% is something that's going to make a dramatic change in your business. Fourth thing is you can increase the effectiveness of your process. This is about a way to drive profit into your company. So there are the 4 ways that you can go about doing this. It's never been more important than right now because of the compression of outside economic forces that are really trying to sink every capitalist out there. Make sure that's not you. I don't want you to be one of those, which is why I record these videos. Speaking of these videos, if you want more content like this video, subscribe, hit the bell. I put out new videos several times a week. You'll be able to watch those. You get more stuff just like this. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.